morpheme. Yeah, as I said before, when we talk about morpheme, we talk about smallest unit. So it could be in the form of free morpheme. A free morpheme means that we talk about a morpheme that can stand alone on their own form. It has meaning and it can be attached by other morpheme. Our example here, we have a free morpheme hand, talk, or work. It has meaning. When we talk about morpheme hand, we understand that hand is a part of body. If it is uh, uh, talking about a human being or talking about animal. Hand can be a part of the chair. It has meaning. While talk is the activity that can be done by human being or animal. Sorry, not animal, yeah? It is only work. Now, it is our free morpheme. It has meaning by its own form, yeah? We can put something with this form morpheme. For example, for the free morpheme, I have a free morpheme hand, and I attach the suffix, it becomes handed. It also has meaning. And second, we talk about bound morpheme. Bound morpheme is also known as the cranberry morpheme. It means that this morpheme cannot stand alone by its own form, yeah, but it should be attached to the free morpheme so that it has meaning. Now, when we talk about bound morpheme, we understand that all affix are kinds of bound morpheme, but those affix can have different meaning when they attach to the free morpheme. For example, when I say that I have free morpheme hand and I put the suffix ed, the suffix ed is our bound morpheme. When I use the suffix ed, I don't have any meaning, but when I attach this suffix to the free morpheme, it has meaning. And then when we talk about morpheme, we also can see the type of morpheme based on its relationship. Yeah, the first we have inflection morpheme, or we know it as inflectional morphology. Now, this inflectional morpheme or inflectional morphology can be seen from its relationship between word form of its lexeme. While in its process, we see that the new word forms do not have any changing, especially to part of speech. Yeah. For example, I have the morpheme book as a noun, and when I put the suffix s to this morpheme book and it become books, the part of speech is not changing. It is still noun, but the meaning can be changed, yeah, from singular to plural. But based on its inflections, to see its part of speech, there is no changing at all. And second one, we have derivations, or we understand it as a derivational morphology. Here, we see the relationship between lexemes of a word family because there is a derivations process. It means that you derive from one form or from one meaning to the other meaning or from one form to the other form. So there is a changing process. Now, in the process, we see the new word form. The new word form can be in the form of different meaning or in the form of different part of speech. Mostly they change the part of speech. Yeah. Now here, let's see our other example. I have a morpheme speak as the verb, and then it become the morpheme spoke if it is changing its tense, yeah. So we use the morpheme speak as the present simple or present tense, while spoke is used in past tense. So it changed the tense. What about the part of speech? There is no changing. Whether it is in the form of speak, it is verb, while spoke is also a verb. And then we have the morpheme beauty. It is noun, but then it will be changed into adjective if we put the process by adding the suffix full, and it become beautiful, so that it become adjective. And here, if we see the changings of the part of speech, the suffix is the characteristic of the part of speech. And the other example is the morpheme short. It is adjective, but when we put the suffix "and," it becomes shortened, and it is no longer adjective but verb. So there is derivations morphology process occur here. So we have to remember, in derivations, we talk about derive from one meaning to the other, or from one part of speech to the other. While in inflectional, there is no changing. Okay, before I continue, is there any questions? Yes. It depends. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to give you another example. It depends, Cecil. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see. From the example speak to spoke, yeah. If we see its part of speech, it's still it is verb, yeah. So when we see from its form, speak to spoke, um, it is inflectional morphology. But if we see from its tense, from present to past, it is derivational. Do you get it, Cecil? Yeah. So sometimes some morpheme can have two form. Can have a morphology, derivational morphology, and also can have inflectional morphology. It depends on the word, or it depends on the morpheme. Yeah, yes, of course. Yeah, of course, Fanny. Okay, we have another example. The previous example was morpheme book. Yeah, morpheme book um, to books. Okay, now let's see here. It is inflectional uh, because there is no changing to its part of speech, because both are nouns, yeah, part of speech. But okay, wait up. Okay, there is no change to its part of speech. It becomes inflectional. But let's see here. we are going to see its meaning. Based on its meaning, we know that the morpheme book is singular, means one, while the morpheme books is plural. It means that more than one. So the meaning change. Yeah, the meaning changes from singular to plural. So it is derivations. Like this. Yeah, it's based on the morpheme itself. So is it clear? Uh-huh. Okay. Speak to spoke, based on its form, its word form, yeah, speak to spoke, yeah, there is no changing because it's still a verb. So it is inflection. But based on its meaning, it is derivation because one is talking about something now, the other is talking about something in the past. So the meaning has changed, it is a derivation. That's Cecil. Okay. And then now let's see here. We are going to see the terms of morpheme based on its core of a word. It means that we still talk about types of morpheme. Yeah. Before we talk about kinds of morpheme based on relationship, and then now we talk about types of morpheme if we see its core of a word. It means that the morpheme denote um, the most precise and concrete contribution to the word's meaning. Mean that we still focus on the word's meaning. Now here in its form of the word, we will talk about the use of affix. Affix means we use prefix and then infix and also suffix. Yeah. Affixes will give the meaning of the same way as the original word, but sometimes it can also change whether it is the form or the meaning. Now here, as I said before, we are going to talk about the affixes that involve prefix. Prefix means that we put uh, some morpheme before the stem. And when we talk about suffix, we talk about uh, adding morpheme after the stem word. And we also can talk about infix. It means that we insert something between the stem. Yeah, later we are going to talk about what is stem. Now let's see here. Yeah, we are going to see the types of morpheme based on its core of the word. The first is we talk about the root. Now, root means the core. Yeah. If we talk about the root, it means that a root is irreducible core of a word. You cannot reduce, you cannot split, you cannot decompose this word. Yeah. Whether with absolutely nothing attached to this word. It means that when we talk about root, we talk about the best form, yeah, the best form of the word. Root doesn't get any process of affixations, but it possibly can be modified, yeah. Okay, I'm going to add one information here. When we talk about root, it means that we talk about the base form. Yeah. Okay. And I said that root can get any process of adding affixation and also can be modified. Yeah. Root is usually a free morpheme, or we call it as a root morpheme. But we sometimes also find that some roots are free and sometimes roots are not free. Yeah. Now let's see here. I have an example. So it means that root can be free morpheme, can be bound morpheme. Our example here, the root is man, tea, bed. They are free morpheme or free root morpheme that are in the form of free morpheme. While when I put meat and sieve, these are root that appear as the form of bound morpheme. Yeah, it can be attached. Now, the bound roots recur in numerous other words. It means that we can say that bound root is independent. If it is independent, it cannot stand alone. Here, the independent bound roots are prefix and suffix and also infix, or generally we can say it is as affixations or affix itself. And then roots tend to have a core meaning, which is in some ways can be modified by the affix. That is why sometimes we can see that in English we have many roots that come from Latin language. Yeah, for example, I have a root romance, and when we have to modify it, we can modify it by adding suffix de. It become romanced, yeah. Or we also can add the suffix ing, and it become romancing. And the root morpheme romance is taken from Latin language or Latinate process. And the free morpheme that occurs can be in different ways, which is usually occur as lexical morpheme. And they can be in the forms of noun, adjective, verb, yeah, and also adverb. If you see here, the highlighted word are content word, yeah. And they also can be in the form of the use of prepositions. Here, preposition is a function word. And this free morpheme can also be in form of carry most semantic contents that refers to individuals, such as the noun morpheme, such as John or such as mother, or can be attributing properties such as the content refers to adjective, such as the word or the morpheme kind or the morpheme clever. Okay, wait, I think I got my battery low. Wait up, yeah. Okay, the next is we talk about some morpheme that describe actions. Yeah, it also can describe process, or it also can describe state. And in grammar class, we understand that it is verb. Yeah, such as the verb hit or write. Hit express actions, write express process, or when I say that I'm going to use be, it express state. And also it describe or express relations, such as the use of prepositions, preposition in, on, or under, and also describe circumstances like manner, such as the use of morpheme kindly, yeah. And the third is the function word, yeah. So the first is content word, semantic content, and then the third is function word. If we talk about function word, we usually talk about a signal of grammatical information Or we can say that logical relation in a sentence. When you build a sentence, so you have to think about whether one unit in the sentence has grammatical informations or has logical relations to another unit in one sentence. It includes the use of article such as a, and the. And also it includes demonstrative such as this, that, those, and this. It also includes pronouns such as relative pronouns. And also it includes conjunctions such as simple, correlative, and subordinate. Yeah. So this is our function word. Second is we talk about affix. Yeah. So the first we talk about root or core. The second we talk about the affix. Yeah. An affix is a morpheme which only occurs when it attached to some other morphemes, or the morphemes that can be in the forms of root, or in the form of stem, or in the form of base. Affix can be occurred as a bound morpheme that should be attached to the free morpheme and cannot stand by themselves. Yeah. And we understand that no word contains an affix standing on its own, such as we have affix s, affix ed, or affix r, and affix Asian or affix li. Yeah, they never stand by their own. Now here we see the types of affix. The first is we talk about prefix. It means that we attach bound morpheme before a root, or before a stem, or before a base. For example, I have the prefix re and I attach it into the stem make, and it become remake, and the meaning become the process. And also the prefix an that I attach to the stem tidy, it become untidy. Now, if you see here, the prefix sometimes can cause different meaning from its stem. It can be from positive to negative, or the vice versa. Yeah. And then prefix also can have meaning of circular action, such as the use of the prefix re. Yeah, such as remake and reread. It means that you do the circular process. And then we have a suffix that attach after a root, or a stem, or a base. Yeah. For example, I have a root kind, and then I have the suffix li, or I have the root with, and I have the suffix er, or work, and I have the suffix ed. Now, if you see here, the use of suffix in that attached to a root can change the part of speech. Yeah, can change the meaning of the word. Yeah, and then can change the form of the tense. For example, in the use of the root kind, this is adjective, and when we attach the bound morpheme with the suffix li, it become kindly, and it is no longer adjective, and it become adverb. And if we see the root with, it is our verb, and when we attach it become whether. It is no longer verb but noun. Yeah, so the change of the part of speech too. And also in work, yeah, work is the verb, and we put ed. It is also the same as a verb but different meaning. So suffix mostly talk about derivational. And then we have infix, yeah, here. And infix is the affix that we insert into the root itself. It could be in the middle of the root, between the root and its suffix. Yeah, infix is mostly rarely used in common English, but it sometimes occur in some of the word. Yeah. It usually occur as the infix n, which is inserted before the last consonants of the root in a few words, yeah, that originally taken from Latin, or it can appear to be the arbitrary basis. Now here, let's see, I have the example. The root is established, yeah, and then the first process I put here is with the green highlighted word, yeah. The first is established and the root is verb. When I put the suffix man, and it become noun, so it become establishment. So we understand that the suffix man is the characteristic of the noun. And then I put the prefix anti, it become anti-establishment. Let's see here, our focus now is on the new word. The new word is in the blue highlight word. So establish is the verb, it become establishment as a noun. Even though I put prefix anti, it become anti-establishment, it's still noun, yeah. And then I also put another suffix. The suffix is Aryan. I will highlight it with wait. I'm going to change the color, and it become in pink. Okay. And then let's see. You are focused now on the last highlighted word. Okay. So anti-establishmentarian now is a noun. Now let's see. Before, the suffix man that indicate a noun is our suffix. Now it is our infix. Yeah. So we have the infix man in anti-establishmentarian. Is it clear enough? So we put infix between the root and the suffix. Yeah. Okay, next, the third, we talk about the stem. Yeah, you already have heard that I said stem, and then root and base. Okay, now let's see what is stem. If we talk about root, we talk about the base form that probably can be modified by the use of affix. Now, if we talk about the stem, we talk about part of the word that is in existence before any inflectional affixes added. Yeah, it could be singular or it could be plural if you see in its syntax. Yeah, so before it has the inflectional affix, it is stem. Yeah, now let's see here. I have the example. My stems are noun, and the morpheme is cat. And then I put the affix s. There is inflectional affixes occur here because the stem is noun, and whenever it has the process, it becomes plural because I put the s, it's still noun. And also the stem work, when I add the suffix it become worker, and then I put its pluralization, it become workers, it's still noun. So that here, the plural suffix s is only attached to the stem cat, and also to the plural worker. Yeah. Now here, the green highlighted word are our stem because it is positioned before inflectional affix. And then we talk about the base. Yeah. If we talk about stem are a morpheme that placed before inflectional affix. Here, base are any unit whatsoever to which affixes of any kind can be added. So we can say that base is almost the same with the root. Yeah. Now here, the affixes that we attach to base may be inflectional affixes that based on syntactic reason, or maybe derivational affixes which alter the meaning or grammatical category of the base. Yeah. So that is why we can say that the root can also be base. As I said before, root and base are the same. Let's see here, I have the root boy. It also the base boy. There is inflectional affixes occur in the base, like using pluralization, it become boys, and there is also derivational affixes that occur to the root and also to the base, such as derivational affixes ish that we add to the morpheme boy or the root boy, and it become adjective boyish. Yeah, so we have to understand that all roots are base. Root and base are the same. Root and stem can be different. Now, we can conclude that base can be called as the stem if there is inflectional morphology occurs. Yeah, but if there is no inflectional morphology occurs, so base is our root, only the root. Okay, I think that's all for today's. We now come to our questions seasons. Is there any questions? So far, is so clear. Okay. So if it is clear enough, and if you think that you have a question, you might type your question in the add link. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you for attending the class. Today we don't have any exercise. Yeah. Thank you for attending the class and have a nice day. Keep healthy, everyone. You may leave the Google Meet. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, you too.